Good morning, good people. We are 6 days away from back to school. Although I know some families have already started. I've been seeing your first day school pics, which are exciting. Today we have a lot to talk about. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. It's access denied. Some of the topics that we're going to talk about the special call board meeting for tomorrow. Parents didn't know. We're going to talk about what parents are excited about, what parents are most afraid of, what keeps you up at night. But we're most going to talk about the TN Ready data that was released as the state, just giving us a headline of how it's going to look. We haven't seen district data, but we're going to go over the headlines and discuss what that really means for our kids. And let's see who we got checking in. I see you, Podge. Good morning, good morning. I saw your comment on Facebook with your pizza box. Hey, that was a good one. Things that make you go, hmm.
Hey, Podge, what's up?
And
Guess we better share. Get some folk on here. Y'all share.
doing it right now. Like share this out to your networks. Like I said, with 6 days before we go back to school. I see Miss Angela is jumping on. See Miss Angela at Monday Night Jazz, and I seen her at the board meeting, getting back into the groove. So it's good to see you on here, Angela. Let's see. Boom. It really means. All righty. All right, go ahead and share this out, and I'm gonna share. But that's what we want to hear today from you guys. Like as we think about school starting in the next 6 days, summer has been. I'm pretty sure you guys have had some really good memories during the summer. Some people have traveled. Some kids have gone to camp. Some kids have just, been at home hanging out. And we want to hear from you guys. Like today is really the opportunity to talk about what are you excited about, and what really keeps you up at night. And I know those two different emotions affect us all as parents. And I'll start off like I'm really excited about school starting back. Last year for me, it was rough. My son struggled in math. He really struggled just virtually, period. Because he was just so used to being around his friends and we just shut everything down. And it was indefinite for so long. One of the things that I fear, and I know we'll dig deeper into it, how do we bounce back from something that's so easy to ignore? How do we bounce back from something that a lot of times we turn a blind eye to, and that's the academic achievement. And we know if you looked at the press conference from the state earlier this week, that we got some work to do. But how do I help my son? How do I help my nieces and nephews recover learning that they lost over, a year, maybe a year and a half, and get them on grade level and get them to a place where even before the pandemic, some of my family members were behind. My son was definitely behind in math already.
Ask me again because I was texting a school board member who's being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the question is like, what are you excited about back to school, and then what keeps you up at night? And what I was saying, those two emotions, like those are two emotions that go through our head. Like we're excited, but we also have fear. And so, just listening to parents, Podge, Angela, feel free to check in. But that's the question right now, Sonya.
I'm not excited.
Mm.
I'm not excited. I'm just gonna be true, like to how I'm showing up today.
Mm-hmm.
If that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody I have a lot of respect for. Somebody I looked up to. Somebody that does this work like we do. Miss Sarah Carpenter lost her grandson yesterday afternoon in broad daylight in a car wash.
Mm.
So the way I'm showing up is hurt and pissed and tired. And That's why I'm showing up. I'm not excited about school going forward when folk could give a damn about our children and they use their political agenda and their word play. I'm on text now with Christian Bugs. I'm just gonna say it. She talking about joining Nashville Propel when you can't even align with us, that everything we say you go against. So why the hell you want to join parents that ain't even like you? Your kid fine. He always gonna be fine. Your damn uncle the senator. You a person of power. You not us. We not the same. Why the fuck you want to join us? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Saying that like that. But I'm tired of people playing with us, man. I'm tired of people saying they caring about our children lay on the ground bleeding to death. I'm sorry for that language. God help me. But no, I'm not happy. And no, I'm not happy when kids are going back to school and 14% of them are reading on grade level. I'm not happy. Why should I be happy? Why should me or any other parent have faith in the system that continues to fail our children? Why should I be happy? Why should I have the same shock factor that everybody has? 2012, 2000, all those years that priority school scores come out and they say the same thing. Oh, we got to come together. We got to come together and we got to rally together and we got to support and give resources. I'm tired of that same shock factor, because them same people that say that never have to worry about it. Dr. Sween, you ain't got to worry about your kids not reading on grade level and being shot in the street like 50 rags. Governor Lee, you never have to worry about your children not reading on grade level and going to juvenile because they done killed somebody over $5. School board members, you never have to worry about any of your children. I don't care if you do put them in a priority school. They are protected because of your privilege and your power. You are the landscape of education. President of the United States, Joe Biden, you never have to worry about school choice, because wherever your child goes, he or she got what they needed. Dr. Jill Biden and the teachers union, you have money and you have power. And so you can manipulate even the worst system in the world. And you can throw out money because we make the money. We print the money in this country. And so we just make it rain. And we vote for these people over and over. If you vote for this side, if you vote for that side, it doesn't matter, because all you're doing is trying to pick the less of each evil. I'm tired.
You're not the only one tired, Sonya. Like, this is anybody who's listening to this video right now. Like, gun violence has affected us. Poor education systems has affected us. And although that happened in Memphis, it rings loud because we knew that kid, knew how respectful he was. But we've experienced this on 1,000 levels, 1,000 times, and enough is enough. When you talk about the money, when we talk about $1 billion just in Nashville, like, it's a business that a lot of us feel is not doing the best job at all. And I'm with Nashville Propel because I realize that we got to keep growing the Podges, the Angelas, Miss Kelly's, the Moniques. I see Crystal on here. Like if we don't come together, they gonna keep picking our kids, keep picking our family members off one by one while we sit and we debate over traditional school versus charter school or homeschool. You know, I tell people, somebody came up to me that's like, John, I don't like your stance on education with charter schools. And I didn't mean, and I don't think I was mean, but I was very blunt. I said, whenever someone comes up to me and talks about traditional versus public charter schools, they fighting over another man's money. This man is going to get the money on the traditional side, or this man is going to get the money on the public charter side. What I'm fighting for are kids, because numbers don't lie. And so when I look at our graduation rates in our community, when I look at our incarceration rates, when I look at our poverty, like it's all the lowest of the low. And like we said, it's time out for that. It's time out for division. Like if somebody called me a charter school advocate again, like, yeah, I'm gonna walk away, because at the end of the day, that means they don't know me. They don't know what I stand for. They don't even know my resume. And because of that, I don't even got time for them. I'm gonna tell them to step off, because time is out for division. Like we got to care about our kids.
They can call us whatever they want. I just got a text from Christian Buzz. She heard this, she heard that. I don't give a hell what you done heard. Mm-hmm. And all I've heard from her is to protect. She protects the system. And she says no love lost. And I say it publicly, no love given. No love given to anybody that's not going to protect our children, protect these parents under the sign of my voice. Mm-hmm. I work for you. I don't work for nobody else. I work for the parents and the children of this city. I don't need no accolades. I don't need no title. I don't need no glory. I got to answer to God, and they do too. Mm-hmm. And so, no, we don't want to even hear from, I don't even want to hear from elected officials no more. You know that somebody called me yesterday talking about an elected official rallying around a certain cause. The same elected official that was running for office, for mayor at one point, who didn't give a crap about priority schools, and their parents had their children stuck in low performing schools. I'm not trying to root for their causes when they don't root for ours. Mm-hmm. So it's a big fat no. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We not money whores. Mm-hmm. We not fame whores. We want people that really care about children, who will take professional and personal risk for the sake of children. And there's nobody black or white that I've seen do that yet. Mm-hmm. There's no pastor except Bishop Campbell that I believe that will take a risk, and Bishop Yumiko Jones. Mm-hmm. For these children. None of y'all big mega churches, none of y'all in y'all air conditioner. Somebody said, how did King and them march in them hot soups in Birmingham? I went to Birmingham this past weekend because I needed to get close to my roots. And I went to the 18th Street Baptist Church where them 4 kids was blown up in that church building, only to come back and my friend's grandson, who was the sweetest teddy bear ever, was murdered. And I don't have any tolerance for anybody before this, and I sure ain't got no tolerance for folk now. Why isn't everybody angry? Why isn't everybody losing sleep? These children are reading at a 14% level on the statewide level. That means the local numbers next week that come out are going to be totally devastating. And without a better plan than what the district has, Dr. Battle said she cannot operationalize personalized learning plans for each student without being able to doing that. And Christian just asked me, so y'all don't do individualized things there? Hell, y'all said y'all can't do it, and y'all got more money than we got. Don't ask me them stupid questions. I got time for it today, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so sick of folk. Like, we got millions of dollars. They only, and when we talk about $276 million, we're talking about that's one bucket of money.
Right.
Let's not go back and talk about the 126 million, the 24 million, and the money that's coming for capital. Mm-hmm. And the district only has to spend 20%. And if you really care about children, why not spend it all? Mm-hmm. When you see how bad it is, and you say we only gonna do this, and then try to have the nerve to have meetings with parents and community leaders. The parent meeting had 10 people at it. Mm-hmm. The community leaders meeting, we ain't going to that. I'm sorry. Because you already got your plan. You just got to get numbers because the state say that you got to have some participation, some signatures and surveys, but you're not going to take our feedback. It's clear. None of y'all going to take our feedback. You could care less what we think. When we put together a whole plan with experts, mm-hmm. that's being used around the country, and you look at us in our face and you say you can't do something, you can't educate children, period, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And I see Ms. Moffitt on here. And I think what we're trying to say, and we just going to be real clear, like the crystal ball that we have looked at our whole lives, when gentrification came to Nashville, East Nashville, I was growing up in 37206. I ignored it. I thought it was a fad, right? I go back in my community now, they looking at me like I'm crazy. When we think about our school system, like we all went to school with people who couldn't read, right? We all went to school with people who never graduated. And you think about the consequences of poor education. I see Ms. Moffitt on here. Like we had a strong conversation one night, and she took her kid out. She said, quit playing with me, trying to railroad her son. But that's not just Ms. Moffitt's story. That's why we fight. It's not just a story. It's not just a story.
Yeah, she just asked me, so y'all don't handle individual cases. Hell, y'all got the whole system effed up, all our kids. They got the system so messed up. We got so many parents with the same problem. That's what y'all want us to do. But you asking me to do something y'all won't even do, and y'all make money to do, make six figures, got millions of dollars on top of billions to do, and you want to be funny. Yeah, I'm pissed off. Mm-hmm. I hope the media is listening. They all need to resign. Every last one of them. Why do we even have a board?
It's like
no disrespect, Mr. John.
Hey, it's like,
but why do we even have a freaking board? An emergency mass meeting. Mm-hmm. What about an emergency Tennessee ready meeting? What you gonna do about that? Because that plan that you had at first does not meet the urgency of the data that we have now. Mm. What you gonna do?
All right. And I'm gonna just put some on here shortly, but I want to show people what these results really look like, because it's easy to say, like it if we've seen some bad results one year, we've seen them a lot. But think about how our communities continue to look in Black and brown communities. Think about every time there's a low score, what community disappears, what school disappears, what whole neighborhood is retransformed. Like when you see these scores, these scores don't just stick for a day, they stick for a lifetime. And we really got to look at, like I'm going to just pull up the scores. So as you look, and we have mathematics and we have ELA. This is for the state. This is not for MNPS. Maybe it's going to get better. Maybe it'll stay the same. Historically, it's gotten worse. And so you have below grade level, approaching grade level, meets grade level, and then they master grade level, meaning they're above grade level. And so in math, 35% of those kids are below grade level across the state. Really, you would think when you see this, we're gonna fix the problem, right? If my sink is broke, I'm gonna fix it. 5 years later, when you get to the 8th grade, not only did it not get better, it got super duper worse, close to 50%. And this is for the state. And so I can put money on this number for Metro Nashville Public Schools is going to be over 50%, maybe even 60. And that's not making fun of this. This is saying this is why we say this is a real pandemic. Like 50% of the kids on a statewide level, Williamson County, Hamilton County, Shelby County, Davidson County, McMinn, like all of that is down. And when we get to Nashville, that number's going to grow. So that was math. And so let's look at reading. And we know how fundamental reading is. At the 3rd grade, below grade level is 32%. As we look at this, it gets better when you get down to the 8th grade. It goes to 23%. But this is for the state. Every time I look at the data to make sure I'm fighting for the right thing, in certain districts in Nashville, this even gets worse when I think about Bordeaux and North Nashville. And so as you see the pain, like this is why it's just that important, because these numbers mean something. They're just not a percentage point. That means every time you see a low number, a child's hope is taken away. A child's dream is taken away. An opportunity to be successful is taken away. And that's the reality.
I just I have so many words. Somebody said educational genocide. It is.
Yeah.
I had a teacher to respond to me this morning, and this is somebody I love, that said it was because we was virtual. And I had to respond to her, but they was already behind before virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So many excuses. So much. So much people not taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Mangrum posted today, y'all, Tennessee student test scores aren't terrible because of the impact of the pandemic. They are even worse because of the pandemic. Get your outrage straight. And that's the realest thing that I heard a white woman say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have people of all colors, all races, all contact me all the time. And y'all, they call me with urgency in their voice and power and excitement. And I love it. I love it when people rise up and when they want to fight for something they believe in. And I listen. Sometimes I listen to people for 30 and 40 minutes, y'all. Just listen to them. And once they stop, I ask them, did they know how our children are suffering? Were you aware of that? And they say, yeah. And I tell them we need that.
Mm-hmm.
We need your energy because they listen to you because you're a white mama.
Mm-hmm.
They won't listen to black mamas and daddies. I saw today where the lawmakers said that they were going to fine school districts $5 million if they talk about anything related to CRT.
Mm-hmm.
$5 million. And yet they don't find them $1 when our children can't read. They don't find them $1 when our black children are called monkeys in the classroom or nappy head and their self-esteem is destroyed. But one little white baby, and I love white babies too, I got them in my family, says that she did not want to be white anymore. When we got thousands of black babies who don't have a hope to live, and nobody does anything. When our black babies can't read, when they have no hope, and they don't even see the hope in the people that mirror, that look like them. Because when your mom ain't had nothing and y'all poor, then how do you believe when and you're not successful in school? So when people tell you to go to school
What does
and
that
educate so you can be somebody, but your mama wasn't educated and
Right.
mama's struggling and working 2 jobs, and you look at that and you ask yourself, why is life even worth living if I gotta work 2 and 3 jobs like my mama, and we ain't got no bread in the house, and I ain't got no clothes and no shoes, and my mama, she's struggling to keep a roof over our head, and my little sister ain't got nothing. And so I'm finna go get in some cars and stuff and take from people because they got stuff. They all right. They gonna be able to replace it. So if I take stuff out their car, they straight. But I ain't gonna never be straight. Or if I look at my peer and I don't feel like nothing, and everybody around me don't look like they gonna make it to 18 and have nothing, then I don't see no value in nobody's life. So when that happens to our children, don't nobody cough up $1 and ain't nobody fine. We just you have my deepest sympathy, and we gonna keep trying, and this too shall pass.
Yeah.
Oh, and it'll get better. That's what we get.
It don't get better without a intervention. And so one of the things that I remember myself doing, and at first I never really talk about it, but it's kind of embarrassing, and the family and I fell out. But when I was a kid, my mom worked 2 jobs to keep our house. We had a house in a decent neighborhood by the river. We could see Opryland, saw Opry Mills built. But my mom worked 12-hour shifts to provide, still lost the house afterwards. But I remember, and it is not funny, but this was my will to survive. So I knew when my friend's family would leave their keys when they left, just in case somebody come home, I would use the key, go into the house, and I didn't steal anything but food. I would go in their freezer and I would go shopping. And I remember one day they came home while I was in there cooking, and I ran out. I think I left some, and I remember them coming down to my house saying, "Do you know if somebody was at our house?" And I was like, nah, but they knew it was me the whole time. But that's what I did in order to eat, because the only thing my mom could provide was shelter. And I didn't talk about this story a lot because I think it was a shame on my mom, but like that was my reality. Never stole anything but food because I was hungry. And so when we're put into situations, people who have been living in Nashville, you realize people are responding to a deficit. And if we print money, whenever there's a crisis, right? When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, we created a whole freaking city and created the atomic bomb. When white people back in the 1800s couldn't agree about slavery, man, they created a whole nother country within a country and made us go to a civil war. In Black, brown, and poor America, nobody ain't never fought for us. Nobody ain't never printed money for us. It's been relevant. They done printed money and gave it to people who were supposed to help us, but it never came. Race to the Top was $1 billion for Tennessee. We thought that was creme de la creme. ESSER funds 1, 2, and 3 has been $1 billion just for Memphis, and over half a billion for Nashville. And we look around with people on this call and we don't see any change. But they keep talking about money. It's on mute, Sonya.
And they keep faking that they listening to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just faking. Charles Allenworth said, John, your story is so much like too many Black and brown. I used to steal food.
Mm-hmm.
I see kids in my neighborhood all the time. I live in a neighborhood where it's gentrified. It's one of the places I lived over in Parkwood, it started gentrified. And I see poor kids walking in my neighborhood. And I see people turn their nose up at them.
Mm-hmm.
I see those with privilege, both Black and white, say stuff to them on our neighborhood Facebook page. Things like build a wall between my neighborhood and their neighborhood. And I see these kids walk through the neighborhood and I speak to them. See, they ride their bikes and I speak to them. I say, hey, baby, you live over here. One told me, he said, no, I live a few streets over. I said, we neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
We neighbors. And I see so many people that will never be able to survive the things that we've all survived.
Mm-hmm.
And I see so many people, Black people, in elected positions who are afraid of losing their status or are put in these positions to only do nothing but protect it.
Mm-hmm.
And swear up and down they're there to help.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people are our friends, our neighbors. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. This is about their job. They are lifetime politicians. Nashville Propel is nonpartisan. We don't tell you who to vote for. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you, you need to vote, and you need to vote wisely.
Yep. Make the system work for you. Make the system work for you. This is a rough day, and I know we didn't go the direction that we usually go, but it's just time out for faking. Like, to deal with hurt, like, it's never a moment to pause until it comes into your household. And even though for me that was all the way in Memphis, that struck me to the core. And one thing the grandmother said on the news last night, she was like, our kids need jobs, real jobs, not no $7.25 an hour in Nashville jobs. That's some BS. You can keep that. They need real education. not education that gives them a diploma in no direction, not a diploma that doesn't even verify if they can read. Like, we need real opportunities. And again, we pay for a system. People can say, oh, that's a renter, they don't pay. Even if you renting, the landlord charging you the tax. Trust me, it ain't a line item, it's in your rent. When you shop, that tax. And so you pay for a police system, you pay for a school system, you pay for streets and sidewalks. And you ain't getting a return on your investment. And the reason people don't speak up because they think they don't deserve. Again, it's generational. When you see your mom, your grandparents, your dad, your uncle all getting what you get, you think it's normal. You think it's normal to be in this situation, but this ain't normal. Like, the stuff that we getting in Nashville, education wise, criminal justice wise, affordable housing wise, this ain't normal. And if you knew, when they created the housing projects, they created the housing projects to keep a base of people inside Nashville. So Casey, Napier, Edge Hill, Cheatham Place, and Joe Johnson, they needed that because when white people moved out to the suburbs, when they got the government loans to buy houses and create suburbs, the only thing that was left in the city were black people. And now they come back and they say, thank you for holding this seat warm. But like, we're going to have Envision Casey. And we envision a day in Casey when you're not there. We envision a day where we're going to create a school for you that's just not going to work for you. We envision a day where you're not going to have access to get a job. And when you try to sell drugs, we're going to lock you up. That's what we envision. And we keep taking it. We take it hands out with a smile. And enough is enough. And I think what Sonya's saying, it don't matter who it is. It don't matter if you black, brown, white, Latino, Asian. If you are not about the empowerment of people, you need to go. Just point blank.
You know what? It's a joke that people say about black people. When something happening, we do what? Run.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask no questions.
You say that ain't got nothing to do with me.
We building a movement.
Mm-hmm.
And black parents can't afford to be out of this movement.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with these Tennessee Ready scores. Every black parent representing our most struggling community needs to be a part of this movement. If we don't bind together, if we don't build this movement, I'd see a day where it won't be any black children or black people in Nashville. I was born and raised here. I'm one of the few, John, there's only a few. My boyfriend and I went to a restaurant a couple months ago downtown, and it was packed. And the lady that was up there singing on the stage, and she's like, "Where y'all from?" And we was like, "Nashville." And everybody in there was like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
We was the only people in the restaurant from Nashville.
Mm-hmm. I love history, right? And so I never understood how Germany, the country, can almost take over the world. Germany, the Nazis almost took over the world. And what they did, they just picked different countries off. They would go to one country or one neighborhood and say, y'all are cool. We're just going after this neighborhood because it needs change. They would get their neighborhood. Then they would come back to them and say, now is your time. One small country almost took over the world because they convinced people that it wasn't a big problem. They convinced people that you shouldn't be afraid because we won't come after you. And as you look in Nashville, they're picking people off First, it was the projects, right? Joe Johnson turned into John Henry Hale, which is still subsidized, but the population decreased. They came for Envision Casey. And that was black people, right? And now this week, you see they're coming on Dickerson Road. Dickerson Road has been the slums, but you got good people, Latino people who are living in the trailer parks, white people and black people. And now they're coming for the trailer parks. But I'm pretty sure they said, hey, we just going for the project. You don't got to work. Then they're going to come for lower middle class. They're going to come for people who live in houses, right? They're going to come for you and say codes. I heard Bishop Campbell say they were calling codes on him. He owned his property in the house next to it. And they still could have an opportunity to take it if he was breaking codes by having a vehicle on his property that was non-operational. Came for the projects. They came for the trailer homes. Somebody burnt my auntie house up on Buchanan Street. They kept trying to get her to sell it. They burned it up and called code. She had to sell it. She ain't had the money to fix it up. If we keep letting this happen day in and day out, the history is there for us in Nashville. If you've been here for 10 years, you will know what's coming. Our schools have gotten worse. We went from 7 priority schools to 14 to 21, back down to 18 only because we closed 3. If we don't do something now, if we don't come together as a community, black, white, and other allies are always important. And I know we have non-people of color, but if we don't come together, it ain't going to be no us. It ain't going to be anything that we can do. They make the system, when you think about codes, I never understood what codes were until they gave us a fine. I was like, oh. And then they say, yeah, if you don't pay the fine, we're going to take your house until you pay that fine. And they can sell your house over $150 fine.
Yeah. I got a letter from the HOA. They wasn't doing nothing. I ain't paying.
Come on now.
They said they're going to take me to court if I ain't paid them by July 30th. I sent them a check July 28th.
Mm-hmm.
I had the money, but the system is rigged. Those who make policy and law, say for renters, for instance, those all laws are applicable to those who own the property. Renters have no protection. And so when you're a homeowner, they created HOAs who don't have no stake in the property that you bought.
That's a whole nother conversation. That's the HOA is the devil. I say
HOA is the devil, but sometimes I like playing with the devil. They don't cut they cut the grass halfway around the property, around the grounds. But if you don't pay your $25 a month, they can take your whole house. We've got a 3rd grade retention law that's already in effect. It's already in effect. It was passed and it started July 1st. However, it won't be applicable. They won't apply it until the 22-23 school year, that says that they will retain your children in 3rd grade if they don't know how to read, or they have to go to tutoring or to a summer program. And right now, as we look at the statewide TCAP scores, 14% of 3rd graders are reading on grade level. 14. That was black and white, right?
And Latino and other.
And Latino and Asian. The 2 groups that hurt the most was black and white children. But ain't nobody finding nobody, because how do you know the difference between poor instruction and a struggling child? You won't know. You won't know.
And so if this stood out to you, reach out to us. Like I said, I think Kendall jumped on last week or 2 weeks ago, had a good chance to hear a story. Reach out to us. Like, this is how we got to build the movement. We gotta help each other and let people know they're not alone. And if you ever listen to Miss Moffin or any of the parents are on, you will know they're already individually strong, but it's only so much you can do by yourself. And you can swing till you can't swing no more, and the system gonna knock you out every time. It's not until we get collective voices coming together. And so thank you guys. We've been meeting a lot of parents on back to school, whether it's been communities or in schools. And parents got a lot. And parents really appreciate when they realize they're not on their own. And so reach out to us, shoot us a message on the Facebook page, share this. The more people who hear this, the more people who get involved, give us our best opportunity to really change. Because at the end of the day, we're tired of seeing kids dying in the street, whether it's Memphis, Nashville, or any other community. But it's going to continue to happen until we want to stop it.
Oh, have a blessed week. School starts next week.
Yep. 6
When you take your children into the building, ask them what the plan is for your child.
Come on now.
What's the no. What is the plan for my child? Name your child. Mm-hmm. What is the plan? They're gonna say, well, the class, tell them no, what's the plan for mine? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And make them write it down. Mm-hmm. When they start, I'm not asking you that. I want to know the plan for my child. Ask them that. You're gonna have to. This is a call to action for all parents. You cannot do business as normal. You cannot just drop your children off the same way you did. Hell, day before yesterday, I was pulling up hollering out the window, wasn't I, John? Mm-hmm. I pulled up to the school hollering out the window at the people. I'm not playing with them. So school my son goes to this year, it's a new school. Don't be surprised when I ask 50, 75 of y'all to roll up there with me, because I'm not playing with mine. Yep. And I'll go with you. John will go with you. We'll all go with you. But we're not playing.
All right. We will see you guys next week. Next week at this time, school will be in. Look forward to talking to you guys. And we're going to keep this train moving. But we're not going back to business as usual. And last thing, just one announcement. We got our big back to school, get your priorities straight, back to school bash in partnership with Mount Carmel next Saturday.
11 a.m.
Mm-hmm. 11 a.m. We'll be out there. We'll be having a good time. We'll be talking about the real, but we look forward to meeting you. Miss Moffin, thank you. May live around there. Look forward to seeing you out there. And we're going to keep coming together.
Right, y'all.
All right.
Let's do this.